Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and I am here in my September Franken Planner, and we're going to be setting up my monthly budget. So it's been a while since I've done a budget video, basically because I've been moving, and so we've kind of put a pause on budgeting just because we pulled everything out of savings just to be able to do the down payment for the house and of course get set up in the house with purchasing and doing things. Side note, it is raining, thundering, so if you hear any background noise, that's what that is. Anyway, so I'm trying to get back into it in September. I did just sit down like for about 30 minutes right before this video to make some adjustments to my budget numbers. Not to the numbers themselves, but like really just to reallocate some money in my cash envelopes. All the budget categories that I have, I wanted to move around some of the major recent transactions that I've had. And so what we're going to be talking about today are where my numbers stand, and I'm really excited, happy that I'm not like super over budget in multiple areas, and again, that's mostly because I was just moving money around right before this video. But we'll jump right into it and get set up. So I want to be able to set up all of my bills for the month, and then to set up my categories with their monthly budget amount, and just kind of like talk about like where my money kind of stands right now going into September. So we're gonna try to get all of that done in one video. So I'm in my September Franken Planner, and this was set up in a previous video, so check that video out if you haven't done so already. But I'm going to flip to my budget section, which is this section right here. None of this stuff is labeled at this point, but this is where we're going to start off with. I did pull out all of my budget stickers. These are mostly non-happy planner stickers, but I am trying to use down my supply here. And so I've got stickers from the Paper Studio. These are super cute actually. I use these, and then I have like little income things, and then here's like bill due. These are actually cute too, but I'm wondering if that matches well. It's a little bit more pastel-y. Right, so we'll set that to the side just in case I want to use those. Here are some happy planner stickers. Let's see what's in here. Okay, I like this. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and use this, and I might add some other stuff, but my budget planner is very functional and I want to be able to keep it like that, but also add some, I'm dropping stickers everywhere, but also just kind of add some decorations so that way I can stay motivated for this month. So to set up my bills, I actually use the monthly to really set up mostly bills, but also any kind of like automatic payments that are pulled automatically out of my account. And so I'm going to put the stickers down and talk to you about the numbers, but I'll save the pen and the writing for the next time around. So in September, starting in September, we are going to be making our scary very first payment on our mortgage on our very new house. Actually, I said I was going to use this, but I don't know that I really love that. I like to have the boxes that I can write in. So let me see if I can find some like that. Like these all say like, cable, electric, but it doesn't have a box to write in, and these are good, but they are kind of small. Let's see if I can find some. These are still kind of small. Okay. All right, you know what? Like, look at that. I'm gonna use these. All right, these stickers are from Willoway Stickers. I was on her PR team a couple of months back, and she was kind enough to send me all sorts of functional stickers, including this sheet. They're all pink, but that's totally okay for me. I'm excited about just using the stickers, again, very functional. So again, like our very first bill is going to be on September the 1st, and September the 1st is this Thursday. I'm also realizing I will need to go in and date this, so that'll be part 2 of this first half, so part 1B, I guess. All right, so I'm looking through like all of my recent transactions just to see what else we have coming up. Okay, so definitely that is brand new for us. Then normally the very first Monday of each month, we have a transfer from our checking to our savings. We just do a minimum transfer of $25 every month, so that's going to be there. And going back to mortgage, I have no idea what our mortgage is going to be. My husband did tell me, but I don't remember the dollar amount, but that will be there just to mark that. So I do have a bill that's on the 17th, so this is the 1st, 8th, 15th, 16th, 17th. Put that right here. That's an automatic transfer for my Nintendo Online, which I have been trying to cancel. It's not that I'm trying to cancel it. I want to cancel it, and I just haven't done it yet. I really should do it. But we'll just leave that there. All of my stickers just fell off into a big stash now, so let me grab those. Okay, and then I do have a bill that normally is on the 18th. This is our Adt Security, but I did cancel that, so I shouldn't have that anymore. I need to make a note that I need to check to make sure that none of that money gets actually pulled out. So I'm going to use this right here. These are some Happy Planner stickers, and I'm going to put this one. It says important, and I'll just put it right here just to make note that, like, we need to double check that that doesn't get pulled out for sure. Okay, and then let's see. All right, our Alabama Power, it might change dates, but normally it's on the 21st. So this is 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. I should have dated first, but that's okay. The 21st is right here. And it doesn't have to be like exactly on the correct date, just because, you know, like, it's automatic payments. As long as it's within like a couple of days of when it normally comes out, I'll be good. And I have a little spot on these where it says what the bill is, how much is due, and then it has a little box to mark that it was paid. And again, all of it's just kind of pulled out of our normal account. All of our bills are pretty much at the end of the month. So here's one. This was Google Storage, which was $1.99, but I did just increase it because I was totally out of space because of photos. And so I just increased that to, I think it's now $3, $2.99 a month. So that is there. And then on the 24th, usually I have my Dropbox, which is my other major like cloud service. So Google I use mostly for email and photos, and then for Dropbox I have photos sometimes, but mostly it's going to be all of my files. And so that it comes out on the 24th. The 24th. Okay, so this is, let's see, the 24th is right here, or again somewhere around there. That's totally fine if it's not exactly right. You're probably yelling at me because I'm on the wrong date or whatever. It's okay. All right, I'm missing quite a few other bills. So I know for sure, like, we're missing electric and our gas. Okay, so gas is going to be on the 30th. Okay, so 24th, 25th, 26th, 30th, right, will be right here. And then I'm missing electricity. So I don't know what happened with that particular payment at least in the last couple of months. So let me just go back and see what's going on here. I might have missed a payment. This is exactly why you need to budget and like keep track of some of these things that are coming out of your account. It did not get missed. I just skipped over it. Okay, so it's around right here on the 21st as well. So I'm going to use this other sticker just because these colors are the same right here. I'll just use all three of the colors. All right, and I think that is all. I think those are the major bills: electricity, water, gas, our mortgage, my 2 cloud services, and then Nintendo Switch. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, and we're gonna leave it there. I'll fill in the numbers as we go along. I'm going to try to use this as a reference for upcoming months, October, November, and December. Again, we're in a brand new house, and so some of the bills and the dates will definitely, I'm going to say definitely, but I don't really know for sure. I don't know exactly if they're going to change or not. We did just kind of roll over our services. And I think the numbers will be a little bit different too, because right now we're paying like double, not necessarily double, but we're paying on like 2 different houses. So the prices will be a little bit higher for this particular month, I think. And we're hoping to sell our old house pretty soon. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we'll see where these numbers go. All right, this section requires whiteout. What I like to do is just go through and white out all of these sections. And this is where I set the monthly budget on the left-hand side. And then on this side, what I do is I don't really do anything with Savings Tracker except to track the money that like gets transferred over. And I did that on the monthly bills page. So what I'm gonna do here is pretty much just put the balance. And then right here, I do like to keep like a beginning of the month kind of snapshot of where all of my cash, like all these categories, my budget categories, are at the very beginning of the month. And then I like to kind of like go back in at the end of the month and just kind of write where it ended, and this information at the very end gets transferred to the next month. So that's what we do here. and I'll come back and do that, right? And then right here, this I actually don't use as like weekly expenses. I just write out some of this stuff, and I use this starting in September just to track all of the daily expenses, and I use it like a running check log or a checkbook register. And what I do with these is just put the date, where, like the store, and a small description, like very short description, the amount, and then right here it says need or want, and I don't use these categories. For the need right here, or this column, I basically convert that to which category, which budget category it came out of. So it could be fun, it could be the home, it could be health, and then I have a like running mini total of like from that category how much money should be in that cashless envelope. And so that's how I use these pages, and I just write it out the first couple of weeks. I don't know that I'll be spending or using quite as many sheets as I normally get, and so I just write it out the first couple. But we're gonna come back here and do this side of it. And for this, I will be writing stuff in and just kind of talking to you about the numbers as I write stuff in. I do have to turn it just a little bit, although I can probably stand to the side and do some of this. But we're going to start down here. I do reference my online cashless envelopes. I use Mint, M-I-N-T, as kind of my cashless envelopes. And so I consider that to be like the most accurate, up-to-date categories in terms of like where my numbers stand and things like that. But I also use it to do my monthly budgeting, and I just reference my numbers from Mint. Oh, and as I set this up, I always like to mention, or at least I try to always mention, that I do my budgeting separately from my husband. So he obviously has his own cash, his own income. What we do have are two individual accounts. So he has his individual account, I have my individual account, and then we have a joint account. So this budget accounts for essentially just our joint account as well as my individual budget. It does not have his individual budget. And so I've had questions in the past about like why my food budget is so low and like why these different areas are a little bit lower. Really it's just my budgeting and like some of the household budgeting, but it's not every single dollar that we spend. So example is like food. I budget basically my spending, and so it's my eating out and any groceries that I buy personally for myself. And then like I rarely pull money from our joint account for groceries, because like he buys his groceries that we share, and then I buy groceries on my individual account that we then share, and then we just don't dip into the joint account for that. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Like, I mean, you can kind of look at some of these numbers and divide it by half if it doesn't look like a joint account, and I'll try to point those out as we go through. Okay, so starting off, I'm just gonna skip around just because the order of them in Mint are like a little bit different. Actually, no, I won't skip around. I'll start at the very beginning. So the very first one here, in this, with these, I don't actually set any of the dollar amounts that are on this previous side. So these are all accounted for separately in my bills and utilities and mortgages and things like that. So these are all of the other categories that I would use, right? So this one right here, one of the first ones that we have is like home. And it's going to be home improvement and like home repair type stuff. So I like to describe it as like house improvements. And what we put in this every month is going to be, okay, I reduced it in July, so it's actually $245 each month, okay? And what happened obviously is like we purchased a house, and so we ended up like putting a ton of money into like just pulling out of savings and improving the house, buying like a couple of items to upgrade different bedrooms. We added a bedroom, we added a bathroom, so there were lots of like things that we just had to add. And so we spent a ton of money in this area, and of course I put all of the, like in terms of categorizing it, all the money that we put towards our down payment that we pulled out of savings, that ended up in this category as well. So obviously right now we're like in the super negative just because like we're down basically a down payment for a house. But when we sell the house, our old house, all of that money will be reinserted back in there, and then I'll like obviously just zero it out basically and start over with like saving $245 each month. And then any additional money that we make from the purchase or like from the sale of our old house will just go back into savings. All right, and again, savings isn't accounted for on here. Savings I track a little bit separately. Okay, so that's the first one. The other thing is going to be home decor. And again, we've spent a lot here, but luckily it hasn't been too crazy. I basically have had money in this category. And so right now, as it stands, I have about $98 left, just giving you the number. But what I put in here every month is $25 each month. And so for home decor, it's basically, you know, like all the decorations and decorative elements. So like Christmas supplies or like decorations, pillows, all the nice touches that make a house a home, so that's kind of in that category. Again, right now as it stands, as of the moment of this filming, it is $98 still left in this category. And some of the items that I initially categorized as home decor, things like, buying new bed sets and things like that, I went ahead and moved into home improvement just because, I don't know, like your budget could be, or your categories could be a little bit looser, I think. And so with it all categorized as home decor, obviously I was in the way negative, but now I shifted it just because I feel like, again, just explaining it to you, like adding a bedroom and adding a bathroom, those things required, quote unquote, required some additional items. And so I consider that home improvement rather than home decor. Even though they're nice items, they were things that, kind of had to go with the fact that we upgraded to a bigger house. Okay, so just kind of explaining that. I mean, I guess it's just my own explanation. I'm just trying to explain it to you. All right here again, utilities. I don't budget any utilities or any of my automatic bills that are on the previous page. They're just on the previous page. All right, so then going down here then, what we have in this section is going to be two categories. The first one is any car maintenance type stuff. So car repair. And in this category, I budget $75 each month. I did purchase a new car in June, and we haven't had to spend a ton of money in this for this. I did zero it out like early in the year in 2022, but like I've since built it back up, and right now we have $422 approximately in this category. And then the other major transportation component is of course gas, and I did up this, or I don't know if I upped it or if I like left it the same or what. I think I left it the same, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, right now I have 135 in there, or like I put 135 each month for gas, and right now I have about $294 in this category as of like the end of August. So that's still a lot of money here, and I think I might be able to reduce this number down. So we'll see where that goes. Let's go down a little bit more. This one right here, medical. I basically lump all medical things together, so it's going to be copays, medicines, all that type of stuff. And so for this category, which I pretty much just call health, I put $50 each month, right? And I'm still doing good in this category. I have about $91 left, right? And then food. Now, right here, all of these things, these are all kind of my personal expenses. So any expenses I have for my car, any gas that I put in my car, any medical stuff that comes up for me or for Sophia, right? So those come out of either my account, if it's my stuff, or for Sophia, it comes out of the joint account. But here, I already mentioned this, but food is something where I basically put in whatever I want, and my husband puts in whatever he wants. He actually spends probably a lot more on food than I do. But what I have done for food is kind of separated into like two major categories, which I lump together, right? So the two major things that we do are, of course, groceries and then dining out. And I do sometimes, but it's like very fluid. I do split it up where it's like 100 for groceries and 100 for dining out. And this is very fluid. I basically just mark it as $200 each month. And then I just categorize it all as food. When I use cash or when I have a cashless envelope, it's just marked as food and it has $200 in it. And a lot of people are like, wow, that's really low even for like one person. Or two people or a family of three. And that's true, but again, keep in mind this is just my dollar amount that I contribute to our household expenses here for food. And for dining out, it's really just my eating out. My husband eats out a lot, but he pays for that himself. And then for groceries, he splits groceries with me. Essentially, he buys groceries and contributes to the household food, and I do as well. So that's kind of where that dollar amount, why it's so low. Okay. So going down here, I have just basically two other categories that are labeled here for the Happy Planner, and I just kind of put it where it fits. So this one says personal, and I pretty much put all the things that are like related to me in here. And so again, this is going to be all of my stuff. The major thing here, just to put it out there, is going to be fun. All right, and this is just pretty much like my allowance for the entire month. Okay, and so right now I have $50 each month going in. And for some reason I have a ton of money in this category. It's probably because like I got a YouTube paycheck. Yay, YouTube. I don't earn a ton on YouTube, but I do monetize my YouTube videos. And so I have been receiving like money like every other month, every 3 months for YouTube videos. And so I put that into my fun money, just because I think they're related. I don't necessarily have to like budget my YouTube money for any major other expense, right? And so I have about $224 right now in my fun allowance category, and this is just for like anything I want. So planner supplies, stickers, it could be, you know, clothes, shoes, all the stuff that I would buy for myself, that goes in there. Okay, last little category here is entertainment. I don't really use anything for entertainment, like that would go into fun, obviously. But for this category, I just never just relabel it, but it's pretty much all the things that are for other people. So example here, the very first one is going to be gifts. If I buy any gifts for people, so that would be birthdays, holidays, and then of course like Christmas. Those are the big ones for this one. Every month I put in $100, and right now we're at $657 approximately for gifts, which is a good chunk of money for especially Christmas, which is coming up pretty soon. And of course I'm still adding money to this every month. I am planning, this is my goal, I'm planning to try to like either re-gift or like have a very low budget Christmas where since again we just bought a house, I don't want to like just spend $700 on gifts. So even though I have that much money in there, I'm going to try to not spend all of it for gifts. And just look around at my space, I have plenty of stuff that's like perfectly beautiful and usable items, and I just don't use it. I realized that as I was packing and moving things, and other people would appreciate it. So it's really going to be like a kind of decluttered Christmas. I mean, I hate to describe it like that, but sometimes it is like that, you know? All right, so the next one is going to be Sophia. Sophia gets an allowance from me of $20 each month, and that's been like pretty much standard since birth, I guess. And so she right now has about $20 left. She's been really good about saving, but also she's been really bad about spending money on new things for the house. And she's upgraded to a bigger bedroom, and so she feels like she has plenty of room for toys. And so that's all kind of there. All right, I also have vacations in here. And vacations could be in fun, but I really take vacations. I never take vacations by myself, so it's always with family. So I like to save money for vacations. Now, one of the things about vacations, and I talked about this in I think my previous budget video, is that, you know, because of the new house, I'm basically deciding just to zero out this dollar amount and use what money I've already saved for vacations to go towards vacations. And so it's zeroed out from a monthly perspective, but I do have money still in that category, and it's right around $490 for that cashless envelope. And I think, yeah, there's only one more category, and that's going to be education. So education is like basically school supplies for Sophia, any like after school activities or things that she wants to do. We also have things, for example, like I need to pay for licensing fees and professional fees and conferences, things like that. So all that goes into education. And again, that just covers really me and Sophia. My husband pays for his own stuff. Same with vacations. He puts in, of course, money for vacations and actually pays for a lot of our vacations. So like we basically split vacations. Where he'll sometimes fully pay for a vacation, sometimes I'll fully pay for a vacation, that kind of thing. And so for education, I put in $100 each month. And right now we have spent, because it's the beginning of the school year, we spent most of it, and there's about $8 in here. And this is one of the categories where I did move around some things, and because I had so much money in fun, again, like around $490, I think is what I said. Was it that much? No, it wasn't that much. It was $224 in here. And that's like right now after I moved some stuff. So before it was like even more than that. It was about $400. But in education, I had a couple of things that I had put in here, but it then went over budget. So example was I went ahead and purchased a yearly membership, or like the application fee. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. It's just like the fee for Simply Piano. Sophia wants to try to again get back into piano lessons. And then the other thing is like I purchased like a language learning tool for Sophia. We do want to get her to try to learn some Cambodian or Vietnamese or some other language that's family oriented, and so I did purchase those two apps for my phone, and they were initially categorized as education, but then because of like that being over budget, I moved them to fun. And again, my budget is fairly fluid, and I think it's totally fine. So as of this moment, I didn't mention this up here with food, but food is well, besides home, like again, like this category where we have the giant down payment. Food, after like reshuffling some of these and recategorizing some of them, mostly this and this, right? But in food right now, this is the only category that's over budget. So this one right now is like $161 over budget. So it could be where I do increase this dollar amount. So at the beginning of the year, I was at $300. It was a good dollar amount, but also I think I can probably manage to not eat quite so much food and eat up out of my pantry, live very lean in terms of like just eating like what we already have, or like just buying eggs and instant noodles and eating that quite a bit. You know, I'm totally like one of those cheap eaters, and I can eat those types of food. It's not the best meal, it's not the healthiest meal, but I can do those things to try to get back on budget. But I do have money, of course, in other categories too. I just really don't like reshuffling all of them so much. So I did make some changes to like specific transactions that I had, but I felt like they fit here or here, you know, so I think that kind of worked. But that's kind of where we are in terms of our budget. So going back here, I gave you the dollar amounts. And so normally right here in this section, I would put the dollar amount, like I would go to like the penny and everything. But because it's not exactly the beginning of September, like on September 1st, I'll go in, rewrite all of these categories, but with the dollar amount. And then at the end of the month, I'll do the same thing on September 30th, just go in and write the dollar amount that each category should have. And this information down here gets transferred to October. So the only other thing right here is I use this to track like the one savings account that we have. And eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to put here, yay, we sold our house and we'll transfer some of that money back into savings. So that's pretty much it in terms of my setup. So what we've got are my bills, which will be in flux this particular month, so I'm not going to put any dollar amounts, and we'll just see what it looks like and add more bills because I might have forgotten one or two, and then have my categories all set up, ready to go. We'll put my savings account on here, and whatever activity comes in that single account, I will list my categories and the beginning of the month balance and the end of month balance, and then this is already set up. I have an extra sheet in here, but this is already set up, as you can see right here, with basically my running log. I just put the date, the store, and a short description, the dollar amount, and then this is the category. One of these 11, or however many, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So one of those 12 categories, and then whatever should be subtracted from that category specifically that comes from this balance, right? And then at the very end of the month, once I finish out all of these pages, or whenever the month ends, I'll go back in and put the category and the dollar amount. And this is what I double check against Mint to make sure my numbers are exactly the same. So that's what I do in terms of my budgeting every month. So that was all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel. And until the next video, bye guys.